Hello, fellow YouTubers. Welcome to the third part of the Mudlup Q&A series. Hopefully there'll be plenty more to come. If you guys have questions, ask. So ask dicks. Anyway, if you're watching this video, I got 10 good questions for you, and you've probably got one good question for me right now, and that is, yes, I am wearing a jacket inside, because it is that cold. And two, I do have those super cool earphones in my jacket. Because, yes, I am that cool. Anyway, we're going to begin. And I'm just throwing this idea out there. If it continues going like this way, where I don't get any questions, and there's one subscriber who actually wants to ask some questions, I think I might just do it to where you can just message me 10 questions. You probably have to send me like 15, 20, but send me a bunch of questions, and then if nobody else is doing any, I'll just take the whole list and see how that goes. Anyway, starting out, we got some good ones here. Okay, for one, we got ugliest bird. What is my opinion on the ugliest bird? That would be any bird that has a sports team, a baseball team particularly, that is not the Cardinals. They are the ugliest bird. They're the dumbest bird. They're anything else mean you can say about birds. I don't really know, but that's my answer. I'm running with it. I got asked Indiana Jones or James Bond. Which one's better? I'm not a movie person. You all should know that right now. I am not a movie person. So I have no opinion here. But I can safely say that James Bond has a lot of really bad puns. I don't know if Indiana Jones does, but bad puns beats out everything else. Just saying. Most obnoxious color to wear. I'm assuming this is for other people to wear. Let me start on the opposite end of the spectrum. Purple is the best color to wear, I think. Because, like, I've never seen somebody not pull purple off. It's just that color. Like, a lot of people think black is, but I don't know, I think purple is. Maybe I'd go pink. Pink is probably the most obnoxious color to wear. Because if a guy wears it, you look very flamboyant. And I'm not saying that as a bad thing, it's just a statement. I remember my 6th grade history teacher wore pink one day, and he's like, oh, it takes a tough man to wear pink. And, well, it does. I mean, it does because it's obnoxious. And when a girl wears pink, you immediately conjure up the image that she's like a princessy type, and that she would be a pain in the ass. Just my opinion. Plus, even if you're going breast cancer awareness, there is a Rob Dyke video. Can't believe I'm shouting out Rob Dyke, who has like a bajillion times more subs than I have. But he has a video up discussing how really, like, none of the money actually gets donated to breast cancer awareness when you're giving money to Susan G. Komen's whatever, for the cure or whatever. Anyway, next question. Favorite rock? Yeah. I'll give you another troll answer. My favorite rock is rock music. No, I can't keep giving so many troll answers. My favorite rock, I guess, would have to be a sapphire. And yes, this is entirely because of Pokemon. Thank you, Pokemon. You're the best. I hope the sound of me moving my hands isn't too obnoxious. Regardless, next question. What is the most annoying incident involving a male, like a boy? That would be, and I don't know why this is what came to mind when I read the question, but I remember, I want to say it was my 10th grade year, and this guy, we were sitting in the back of the room, and me in school and just in general, I kind of keep to myself, and I feel like because of that, not many people actually had problems with me. Everybody was kind of just like, he's there. But this guy, I remember him saying, because he was more relationshiply advanced than I was, and I remember him saying, "Oh, I'm gonna find you a girlfriend," and he said it really loud, and it was actually in my favorite class with my favorite teacher of all time, and it was just super obnoxious, and like it was one of those moments where everybody looks over, and as the shy person, that bothered me. So that is the most annoying incident involving a male. Granted, when I say that, he had all the good intentions behind it, even though he never followed up with it. So, most annoying incident involving a female. In general, when questions about annoying females gets brought up, I have to bring up my ex. Ex is used very, very lightly here. She made people up and did all sorts of awful, annoying stuff. And when you're younger, it messes you up psychologically. And probably the most annoying incident would be the day that they said my friend had killed herself. And like, really, I was like 15 or 16 at the time, and there was a part of me that didn't believe it, and there was a part of me that did believe it, because I knew they had been fucking with me a lot. So, like, I wanted to not believe it, and at the same point, I'm a very trusting person. And so it was a very annoying incident when they came back and said it was a lie. But anyway, moving on. We've spent like 3 minutes on those two questions. So maybe that went a little too far, but sorry. Most interesting president. I guess I lied when I said I wouldn't be giving any more troll answers. No. One of the most interesting things I remember hearing about, and I haven't looked up the information in a long time, but it was about how the assassination of Lincoln and Kennedy were actually very similar in like really odd, like stupid ways. You know, when people are overlooking things, well, not overlooking, they're overanalyzing it. And it was like, oh, well, their names have the same amount of letters in it, and they were both really famous presidents for dealing with for equality, because Lincoln freed the slaves and all that good stuff. And then there was like because Lincoln got shot in the theater, right? And then his assassin ran off to some, I can't remember where he ran off to, but then Lee Harvey Oswald does the inverse of that, which is it's just a lot of really weird stuff that doesn't make any sense. But I remember finding it very interesting. But there was also another interesting thing where I can't remember what presidents they were, but like out of the first like 7 presidents, I think like 2 or 3 of them died at the same time. It was like on Independence Day. I don't remember. I could be completely wrong, and odds are it's probably fake. Because if you really start thinking about it, like, that's a little suspicious, but I'd have to actually look it up. So, but I want to say one of them was Jefferson. But probably the most interesting president, because I'm really getting sidetracked here, and I'm sorry about that, guys. But probably the most interesting president would have been John Quincy Adams. And not for any of the reasons you would think. If memory recalls, he was the 6th president, right? So you figure, let me see how many presidents I remember up to that point. You had Washington, you had Adams, you had Jefferson, Monroe. Who else am I missing? There's somebody else in there. But then it's John Quincy Adams, the son of John Adams. You figure in like I can't remember how long they served. I feel so bad because my history is falling so bad. But you figure within the span of like the first 6 presidents, you had 2 people who were directly related, father and son. Like, granted, in hindsight, like nowadays, it doesn't seem as odd because, we had George H.W. Bush and George W. Bush and then Jeb Bush running. But you figure how odd that is to start the country off where the country thought highly enough of the father to where they re-elected, well, not re-elected, but elected his son. And probably another good answer would be FDR, for obvious reasons involving him having 4 terms. And yeah, I don't think I have any other answers. Moving on. 3 minutes later. The next question was, which do you prefer to travel on, plane, train, or boat? Out of those 3, I've only traveled on one. I've never been on a plane. I've been on a boat, but it was docked, so never done that either. I have been on a train, but it was like a city train, so I don't know what the term is for that. There's a term for it, but it wasn't like it was an actual train. But if I was taking a guess which one I would like the most, I do think being on a boat would be pretty cool, because then you could play The Lonely Islands, I'm on a boat. And I feel like a plane would probably be the coolest. Because, like, aside from being on, like, a yacht, you figure boat life, like, it is different. But you figure when you're on a plane, you know, it's like, okay, you're going to be on a plane for this long. And, you know, basically for that entire time, your life's going to completely change. And all sorts of dumb crap like that. And, you know, I haven't really thought through these answers that much, which is why I think I'm rambling too much. But I guess I'd go plane. Because if you think about how amazing it is that we can actually, you know, fly in a plane. Fucking miracles. Favorite book. This is a shout out to my 5th grade teacher who got me to read Hatchet. Because before that point, I didn't really read. Like, I mean, obviously I could read, but I didn't read for fun. And this was definitely like a changing point in my life, so to speak. And I enjoyed the book a lot. And it was at that point that I actually started reading more. Like, I read whatever the second one's called. I think it's called, like, The River or something. I read the other book, started reading a bunch of the standard little kid books, you know, the Goosebumps books, and I think a series of unfortunate events was coming around. So I'd say Hatchet, because that's probably the book that has impacted my life the most, which, yeah, I guess that makes sense. Yeah, Hatchet, final answer. Gary Paulson, right? Right, haven't read it in a while. Haven't even looked at it. But anyway, then we have a 2-part question, which should be really fun for everybody. So if y'all want to play at home, feel free to comment in the comment box. Yeah, comment, guys. The question is, male and female celebs you'd make out with. And this is a really funny question, because I'm straight for YouTubers. This is an interesting question, because I am straight, just so you all know. Not that there's anything wrong with, you know, being gay or anything. But I actually have more answers that come to mind on the male end of the spectrum than on the female end of the spectrum. Because I have 2 standard go-to answers on the male spectrum. I mean, okay, on the male end, realistically, Matthew Gray Kubler, and then Matt Pat. I feel really good about those answers, yeah. 2 answers is good, right? Yeah. Those are the only 2 answers I have. But on the female end, and this is kind of odd because you figure Matthew Gubler is not that old, and Matt Pat can't be more than like 30. But on the female end, for the longest time, I have thought Jennifer Aniston was probably the hottest female celeb, because, like, she does not age. But I guess my follow-up answer, and probably the realest answer, would be M.I.A. But anyway, those are my answers. If you have questions you want to ask, there's an Ask FM page. There is a Twitter account. There are ways to get your questions asked. if nobody asks questions, and I guess for the time being, you're a subscriber and you want to hear me answer some dumb questions and make a fool out of myself, just message them to me. Like, you can message me, like, bulk. God, I am straight up. I don't, is it backwards? Yeah, well, I'm reading off a piece of paper. One person sent me all those questions. So, it's an option for the time being. But anyway, if you've enjoyed the video, like, comment, yeah, y'all know. Y'all know. But you should ask follow-up questions, because with questions added on, I'll be able to do more of the Q&As, and I feel like the Q&As are actually kind of fun to do. And maybe it's just me. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I need to say before I close this video out. I know there's one thing I want to do, but that's at the end. Yeah, I guess this is good. This video is going to be really long, though, and I apologize. Thank you guys for finishing the video if you've gotten to this point. If you haven't gotten to this point, go back. Don't start the video from the end. You're crazy. Doesn't make any sense at all. And now, I'm going to reference another YouTuber. 3 YouTubers in one video. This is a record for me. Okay? 1 billion subscribers. Woo!